Claude has a testimony for us.
I forgot my testimony. I don't know what to talk about. Amen.
First time for everything.
Yes, first time for everything. I want to talk about influences. I remember when I was first born again, you know, like you give your life to Jesus, and then what's next? So, you know, it's like I'm born again. So I have to kind of like restart living. So I had four people in my life that were who have really influenced me. The first one, his name is Jean-Marie Boudreau. He passed away a couple of years back, but he used to go, I started off at the French church up in Beresford. And I remember he was the type of guy that was like, he didn't mess around. Like, you know, like, he was kind of like, he was in construction, he was like, you know, like, kind of like tough. But I remember him speaking to me, like, you know, like, because I didn't have a control over my mouth. I still don't have a control over my mouth, but I remember sometimes I would say stuff and he would just kind of look at me and he would say, Claude, just come on, just, in French he would say, viens ici, we call them, viens. So I would go over and then he would tell, well, you know, you can't talk like that. I said, really? Well, no, you know, like inside I knew, but you know, like it's like he would tell me, like, you know, you can't talk like that. You have to be careful what you say. And sometimes, you know, like I just looked at him and I thought to myself, I was this big, but I thought to myself, who in the world do you think you are to talk to me? I would say that to myself, but not knowing that he was a really good influence into my life, because, you know, like he really helped me to kind of like just be careful what comes out of your mouth, and you know, like, how would I say, good etiquette. I don't have my time here, but no, I don't have a watch. But just kind of give me a signal if I can, just kind of keep on going. The second person that really influenced me is when I came back from Montreal. I came back to this church in 1995, and he was Pastor Henry. I remember he would talk, he would bring up his sermons, and I felt like I was the only person in the room. It was almost like he was just like, when he would speak, it was almost like he was just pointing. And he would say stuff and I was like, holy moly, like, I would just kind of feel like I was looking around, is he talking to me? Did somebody rat me out? You know, like, it was really interesting because his sermons is what I really, really needed to hear. You know, to really, like, it just kind of like made a good foundation into my life. The third person that really influenced me was Pastor Fred Farron and Janet. I have to. He was like a father figure to me. You know, he would come up here and then he would make an exception to hang out with me. Him and his wife, Jacqueline, he would take me to Tim Hortons or Papa Joe's or whatever, and he would just kind of talk to me and just kind of, you know, like, Daddy, like, like this, but how you doing, Claude? What's new? What's going on? Is there something that we can pray about? Is it something that we can really, you know, like, is there something, you know, it was just awesome. The fourth person that really influenced me is my wife, Susan. She really taught me how to talk to, how not only talk to women, but to respect women. She would tell me, like, you know, like, okay, well, Claude, you know, like, it's like, you can't, you know, she was almost like the female version of my first influence, Jean-Marie. Like, you know, she would kind of say, like, you know, you can't do stuff like that. You need to kind of like, because if you haven't seen me in the early 90s and stuff like that, I was like a wild card. I was all over the place at the same time. Like, you know, I was like, I don't know if I was HDD or whatever you call it, but I was just like electricity. But it was just really important for me, all these people, to come into my life and to really, really speak to me. It's good to have influences in your life, Christian influence, Christian people to come and talk to you, because, like I was saying, I was born again. I'm a child. When you're born again, you're a kid. You're kind of like renewed, a kid spiritually. Like, you know, you think you know it all, but you don't have a clue. It's almost like a teenager who thinks he knows it all, but he really doesn't know nothing at all. So for me, you know, all those people really, really, really encourage me, and it's good to have somebody in your life that will influence you. that will encourage you in the Lord, that will just say like, okay, well, you know, like, grab you by the hand or the arm or whatever, and just kind of bring you along and to tell you how important it is to follow Christ and to kind of like change. So, to all of the 4 people that I mentioned, I thank God for, and of course, you know, like you guys over here, like, you know, like you've influenced me in so many ways, but I just wanted to point out the 4 people that really kind of made an impact. And I think River's kind of taking over right here right now. So, God bless you folks. Let yourself be encouraged. Let yourself be mentored by somebody. Sometimes it's not going to be fun. Sometimes you're going to feel like lashing out, but just don't. Just look at the big picture. And that's what I wanted to share with you folks this morning. God bless you.